Shootin' the Shiznit is exclusively sponsored this month by spunklube.com. Spunk Lube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. Spunk Lube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. The newest addition to the Spunk Lube family is Spunk Lube Pink. The pink formula is colorful and fun to use. It's a special hybrid formula that's non-sticky and non-staining. All of their products are shipped in discreet packaging from D Enterprises. Please go to spunklube.com and order a unique, fun-to-use personal lubricant.
Have you listened to episode 89 yet? It's the one where Brian interviews Dave McCormick about meeting his wife through the Wrestling Observer. What the hell is that? Listen to the clip and download the show. All the archives are found on stspod.club. Listen now.
Rally Club in Las Vegas. Dave was receiving an award that night. And we've been going the last couple of years. The year prior was the first year we had went, and that's where we got to meet Ron Hutchinson for the first time, which was nice. And this year with Dave, we were kind of waiting so we could kind of, find him by himself a little bit to go over and talk to him. And we did, and it took about 3 words of, I think I got to, "Hi, Dave. I'm Dave McCormick, and this is Nanette," and he immediately remembered everything. He's like, "Oh, you guys are the guys that got married. Oh, it's so great to meet you." And he couldn't have been nicer about it. He had some friends with him, and they all just totally popped for the story. They wanted to hear the story. And Dave did some staged pictures with us of him renewing our vows, so to speak. But it was kind of cute.
That's awesome.
It was a really good experience. And he also said that now he just needs to work something out like that for himself, which we thought was kind of funny.
Now, you said you don't, you guys, you told me in Facebook, we talked just a little bit inbox, that you had a period of time where you guys didn't watch any wrestling.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's start the party.
It's time again for the Super Summer Sizzler Shiznit giveaway. All you have to do to win is, to retweet. That's right, 3 winners from July the 5th to July 31st will be picked, and all you have to do is retweet an episode during that time. 3 winners picked for 3 lunchboxes. You can choose between a WWE Championship belt, the Balor Club lunchbox, or Booty O's lunchbox. Each lunchbox will have a nano metal WWE action figure, a Dr. X replica mask, and a bottle of Spunk Lube from our sponsor this month. I will draw 3 winners on August the 1st. First place will get to choose which lunchbox that they want and see what extra prize is in the lunchbox. One person will not get anything in the extra in the lunchbox. One person will get a coupon for an exclusive all-in Shootin' the Shiznit t-shirt. And one winner, or, I guess you can call him a loser, will get a "How are you doing" t-shirt. That's right. So all you gotta do, brother, is retweet.
Stop right there. Not only do we have a contest for the month of July, but I, Lance Levine, also known as Lance LeSwine, will be hosting all of the episodes of the flagship show, Shootin' the Shiznit. That is right. I am kicking BT to the curb for the month of July. So now, on with the show. Did I do that? I did that better than BT, right? I definitely did. And I love my mama, too.
She
Hey, welcome back. We are in the Smuckers studios here in Chicago. You know, Smuckers, if it's with a name like Smuckers, it's got to be good. And we are joined from the green room, of course, because, that's what BT only has, a green room. We're joined by a very unique couple. This is going to be a little bit different show from what we're used to for doing the Takeover Month. We have Sean and Lindsay Lechowicz on our show. So welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So welcome to Shooting the Shiznit. So people are asking, who are these guys and why did you want to have them on? So Brian always talks about one thing that we always do on the show is he says, let me try and think if I can get the verbiage down. We finna have people that we've been knowing for a long time, or people that we know that we don't want to know that we kind of want to know, or something like that. So you guys kind of fall somewhere in between. So we don't know each other all that well, but I do know what I know about you guys is really interesting. So I wanted to have you on the show. So welcome.
Well, thank you. We're really happy to be
here. We're so pumped.
Yeah.
So, and it was destiny because back in the day, I dated a girl named Lindsay, and my son's name is Sean. So I figured it was kind of destiny to have you guys on. So anyway, we met at an ROH house show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It was some random ROH house show, and I think you were the only other two people in the room that were not wearing Bullet Club shirts. So I felt it was safe to sit next to you guys.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. It was like October 2016.
And was it like one of the Japanese shows? I don't even remember. Or was it just like a local spot show for them?
I think I think it wasn't. There was I think Takahashi was the only one that was on. That was Takahashi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Jay White. And honestly, I remember that it came with the first Chicago show that wasn't a pay-per-view, so the audience just did not care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Was it, Jay White? Like the Switchblade Jay White?
Yeah, Jay White. Yeah, Jay White was there, and Jay White
took
him to his hotel room afterwards.
Yeah, we gave him and a few of the other guys a ride to their hotel.
Yeah.
Nice. So was Jay White as boring then as he is now?
Oh, come on. Jay White. I love Jay White.
Both big Jay White.
I'm a fan of face Jay White. I like the original Steamboat-esque Jay White. That's what I like.
Okay.
Boots.
Gotcha. So I know that that night you guys were telling me about your wedding and the ROH connection. So we're going to get to that. But first I want to start a little bit further back. How did you guys meet?
We actually met when we were the leads in our 8th grade play. Yeah. So it was a long time ago, longer than I'd like to admit. So we've known each other a really, really long time. We didn't quite get together back then. There was some
Thank God.
8th grade sabotage going on.
Well, yeah, we both had huge crushes on each other, but had no idea. And of course, I was a 14-year-old boy, so I couldn't really talk to girls.
Right. It's by law, you're not allowed. Yeah.
Right.
So
we got together in 2009.
Yeah, we went to separate high schools. I never stopped thinking about her. Finally, when we were in college, with the advent of Facebook, I found her. She somehow said yes to coffee, and we became boyfriend and girlfriend 2 days later. So
wow, look at that.
Time that we didn't have in common was at that time I actually wasn't a wrestling fan.
No.
I had never really watched it.
Right.
He showed me right after we started dating. He showed me TNA. He put TNA on, and I just looked at him and I was like, this is terrible.
She hates TNA. She did not watch wrestling because she hated TNA. She hated the production value. Yeah. She just assumed that was all wrestling. So
it took me I'm honestly so pissed that's the first thing he showed me, because it took me a year for me to become a legit fan. Till I actually loved it and could see past the TNA.
Yeah, I didn't give up on her. I was
of it.
One of these days she's going to be a wrestling fan, and finally, by hook and crook, she became a wrestling fan.
It was
I just think it's ballsy that you showed a girl TNA as the first, just something called TNA. That took guts. So I give you props for that. Yeah. So, but that was probably in the days when TNA was kind of not so hot, and I can understand when you were not at all into it at that point. Do you remember who were some of the first people you watched, Lindsay?
Well, I don't remember anything really from TNA because I wasn't really paying
tuned it out. Yeah.
But the first stuff that I really started to see the value of and to really start loving was the whole Nexus angle in WWE.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And stuff. I just started getting super into it, and that's when I actually started watching on my own without him, and that's when I knew okay, I actually do love this at this point.
Yeah, she was early on, she was a huge dashing Cody Rhodes fan.
Oh my god,
That was such a
I would always make him do the dashing, like.
yeah, and
That's
Alberto
awesome.
too.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. So you must have been watching the Raw that night when the Nexus took over and they choked out Justin Roberts and they took over the whole, like, no announcers, and it just went silent for the last 20 minutes of the show or the show.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, that's when she was just blown away. She perked up. She's like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wild. So you must have felt like a proud papa at that point, that she actually, discovered something that she really liked at that point.
It was like, okay, I can stay with her now. Like,
Awesome. So, favorite promotions, like what are things that I know ROH definitely had to be something that you both found in common.
yeah. So with ROH, honestly, we discovered, like, I knew of ROH from like the early days of ROH.
Right.
My whole life. But I wasn't really into it until right when we started getting married. Our honeymoon kicked off with the anniversary show with Las Vegas. That was the first ROH show that I actually saw since like 2004. And that's what really, like, to me, that was like, oh my gosh, we finally got the red pill from the Matrix. Like, that's when we're like, independent wrestling is so much better than regular wrestling. And so really 2015 is when we became huge ROH fans.
Yeah,
Okay.
the reason that we, because we built our whole wedding around that pay-per-view. It was the ROH anniversary show in Vegas. And we did that because I still am. I'm the biggest Jay Lethal fan, like, ever. I love him. I actually became a fan of his before I even saw him wrestle because of the whole feud with Ric Flair and the impression and all that stuff, which I know was in TNA, but, they got some stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was when TNA got better for a brief moment there.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So a Jay Lethal fan and a Jay White fan. Wow. So, like, there's a connection there too.
Well, Jay Briscoe.
Yeah,
too.
Jay Briscoe.
And Jay Briscoe. There you go. Wow. There's a lot of Jays.
And Christian.
So, man, getting deep on the inside there. So tell me, all right, so we kind of touched on the wedding. So what was the connection with Vegas and the wedding and the planning of the wedding that coincided with ROH?
Well, so we saw that they were going to be in Vegas for their anniversary show in 2015. And we saw that Jay Lethal was going to be there. Sean's actually the one who found it. And he called me up and he was just like, okay, Jay Lethal is going to be at this wrestling show in Vegas. And we kind of were talking about getting married and doing something where we, like, go somewhere and just do it quickly. And he's like, let's do this in Vegas. Let's just go to Vegas, get married the night before. So we planned the whole thing around the Ring of Honor show. We got married in the same hotel the night before. It was great. He actually, Sean,
I knee dropped my jacket just like Jay Lethal on the Ric Flair.
Yeah, we got wedding. That's on our wedding video. So it's
awesome.
We were pretty into it. And it's crazy because the day after the wedding, it was the day of the show. We were kind of moving our hotel room because we were in, like, the honeymoon suite, and we were going down to our regular room. And in the elevator was Jeff Jones, like,
Judge Jeff Jones, who, of course, was like Awesome's manager, and at the time was working for Ring of Honor behind the scenes. So we're in there, and he sees our wrestling shirts, and she's wearing a Jay Lethal shirt. He's like, oh, so you guys are big ROH fans. I work for ROH. And she's like, yeah, Jay Lethal is my favorite thing ever. All of a sudden, and it's Jay Lethal
calling him.
And he's like, hey, so you guys want to say hi to Jay? I'm like, yeah. So he just, like, put us on, and, like, we got a meet and greet after the show, and, like, he was the coolest guy ever. And yeah, that's how it started.
It's funny because we got some pictures with him after the show, and we had just gotten married the day before, but my profile picture was the Jay Lethal picture. Like, I didn't like the wedding, like, nah.
Right. So did any of the, your ceremony was like a small, just a quickie Vegas type ceremony, or no? Was it a big deal?
No, it was just 18 people, our closest friends and family. It really happened out of nowhere. We were engaged for like a year. I'm like, let's just get married in Vegas. And we saw this wrestling show and thought that'd be perfect.
So we planned it like a few months before, went to Vegas, got married, saw the greatest show ever. That anniversary show was amazing. It was Alberto El Patron versus Jay Lethal. And of course, that's like the, and anyway, it's kind of a different story, but it was kind of like interrupted when we were watching it. But
a certain wrestler actually interrupted it. I don't know if you want us to go into it.
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Yeah,
Inside stuff is good. We like that.
So what happened was this. Literally, we're watching the show. It's awesome. Right before the Alberto versus Jay match, the main reason we're there, like, okay, I should go back. So Jimmy Jacobs was still in the company at the time, and he had a match earlier, and we're standing right by the rails. So then he sees Lindsay, who again is quite the dish, I must say. She's very she's still wearing her, like, her hair is up for the wedding. So he goes and he's like, "Oh my gosh, look at you!" And then he walks back, and then he comes back for another match later on the card, and he goes up to her again, like, "Seriously, call me!" Like, what? Yeah. So,
I thought he was just kidding.
So the Jay Lethal match is literally just starting, and all of a sudden she gets a tap on her shoulder, and it's Jimmy Jacobs
again.
Into the crowd, and was kind of crouching behind me and like to talk to me.
And he's like, "Seriously, who are you?" And she's like, "Actually, I just married this guy yesterday." I was like, "No kidding. All right, bye." I just like, So it was. I felt bad that I, kind of like C-blocked Jimmy Jacobs, because I was like, I loved you in Wrestling Society X. So yeah, that was.
Well, I think now you guys, because of that incident, you guys turned him into the princess in TNA. So I think that look at the ramifications of what happened that night. This is sad. It's tragic. So,
yeah, actually,
so that was the day after the wedding. That was the night of the pay-per-view, which was the day after your wedding.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. So Jimmy Jacobs, she's sorry. If you want to come on the show and tell your side of the story, we'll have you on sometime. So you had mentioned Lindsay being a dish. So one of the things I was going to bring up is you have a unique style, I would say. And whenever I see either pictures of you or see you in person, I think Happy Days. So I think that you are you must have some kind of retro motivation in your style and your look. Is that true?
Exactly what I'm going for. Yeah,
like Happy Days. That's what I always think of.
I just love the 50s look. I literally, I don't think I even own jeans at this point. Every day I just wear a different 50s dress.
Which, again, I love how she looks in the dress, but she's got like this giant ass, which I love. And I miss the jeans days, gotta say. Bring them back.
Wait, Trammell's listening, so be careful with the giant ass comments. Anyway, and then Sean, do you have, is there a style look that you're going for as well? Are you a 50s guy too?
Yeah, nerd chic. No, I mean, it's just like clothes. That's my style. Like,
there you go.
Yeah, I like penguin shirts, like collared shirts. But yeah, that's really no style.
Gotcha. And I know we brought you guys into Cool Kids, and if I remember this correctly, it was I think it was like a Saturday afternoon we brought you guys into the group, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Lindsay's first opening salvo was "Hey Cocksuckers." If I'm remembering it correctly, it was "Hey Cocksuckers." And then at that point, I knew that we had two twisted fucks on the other side of it that were just going to fit right in with the rest of us. So I thought you guys would be a perfect fit in the group. So,
well, you were saying you had to class it up. So,
oh, so that's why I was asking a woman to come in the group to kind of class it up a little bit. So, yeah, you played the role perfectly. So anyway, second half of the show, we're going to talk about you guys' other profession that we haven't even touched on yet. But before we leave the wrestling topic, two things. Lindsay, I wanted to get your take on the way that things are being changed in the portrayal of women in wrestling today and how WWE is launching this big, stupid evolution pay-per-view like they invented women. How do you feel about the way that wrestling has changed as far as the portrayal of women over the years?
Well, I have to say, this is going to sound terrible, but I've never been a huge women's wrestling fan. I know coming from a woman that does sound good, but lately, like the last year, I actually stay and watch matches. That's like huge for me. I see like the way they're doing it now, and especially with Ronda Rousey, I think she is on her way to being the best female wrestler of all time because she's always got so much going for her just now, like just started. I mean, she's like got like the Kurt Angle thing, which is a huge thing for me to say because coming in from, a different background, and she kind of just like has all of the elements you need to be a great wrestler. I mean, she's like, I can't believe someone who can like kick anyone's ass can sell that well.
Right.
Like shocked by the amount of talent.
Yep. So as far as the Evolution show that they just announced, are you excited? Could you care less? I mean, she's probably going to be the main event. You got to figure.
Yeah. I'll watch it. I am apprehensive about it. Like, I don't know about like all women's show.
Right.
I mean, because I love, back when like, Sexy Star and stuff was on Lucha Underground, I love the intergender stuff, like, with Beast and stuff. So I kind of wish they would do more of that type of stuff. Like, not necessarily make it an entirely separate thing, but just make it competitors fighting other competitors, more like a weight class versus man versus woman, I think. So I don't know. I really like where it's going.
Cool. Yeah, I think that the first half of that show might be challenging to watch, but I bet the second half of it, they have enough good talent there that I think it'll be an interesting show, to say the least. One last thing before we leave for the break. Who do one of you guys hate that the other one loves, and vice versa?
Honestly,
like, who's a wrestler that you hate that she loves, and vice versa?
We are pretty in tune with each other. Like, we have the same taste. I mean, can you think of one?
It's just a matter of like, one of us will like one more, but it's not like a necessarily we don't like.
Okay, I thought of one. She's not a Jericho fan. I love her. She's not a Jericho fan.
This interview's over. Interview's over.
Favorites of all time, and I think he's fine. I think he's good.
He's one of the greatest of all time.
Yes.
And okay,
I think there's.
First of all,
I'm not saying he's bad. I just think
no.
Little overrated.
Jay Lethal is the best, but Chris Jericho is up there as like the similar type of thing where he can work any style. The dude's amazing on the stick. He just evolves.
Notice how I trained him to say Jay Lethal is the best before this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that's divorce.
I was Team Lindsay. Now I think I'm Team Sean. So sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, all right, we're going to go to a break now. And by the way, our sponsor for the break is going to have a special care package lined up for you guys. So we're going to take a minute for a break, and we will be right back with Sean and Lindsay.
Shootin' the Shiznit is exclusively sponsored this month by SpunkLube.com. Spunk Lube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. Spunk Lube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. The newest addition to the Spunk Lube family is Spunk Lube Pink. The pink formula is colorful and fun to use. It's a special hybrid formula that's non-sticky and non-staining. All of their products are shipped in discreet packaging from D Enterprises. Please go to spunklube.com and order a unique, fun-to-use personal lubricant.
All right, we are back with Sean and Lindsay Lechowicz. And by the way, they'll have the hybrid will be sent to you via UPS, so be waiting for that at the post office. And now we're going to talk about the other half of why I wanted you guys on the show. And I don't know if we even touched on this before, but you guys are both stand-up comedians. And so I felt like this has got to be like unheard of, that 2 stand-up comedians, not only married, but wrestling fans on top of it. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you guys on the show. Also reminiscent of an earlier episode that Trammell did, where he interviewed a guy who basically met his wife through the Wrestling Observer. So I figured this is kind of a wrestling, love fest and get together and the marriage and everything. So I figured this is kind of part 2 of that kind of equation. So stand-up comedy, how did that start? How did that start for you guys?
Well, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment business, and I started doing stand-up by myself. And actually, on our first date, I gave her a joke, and she just looked at me and was like, "That's horrible."
It was a bad joke.
It was a bad joke, and I got discouraged.
To be fair,
2 years later, I finally did it when we were still dating. I did it by myself for 6 months. It wasn't really working, and then I just said, "You know what?" Like, I kept bringing her up, but she wouldn't say anything. I kind of roasted her, and people thought that was one-sided and mean. So, you know what? Let's give her a voice, have her make fun of my wiener and stuff like that, and people like it. So.
Yeah, because he's a very self-deprecating kind of comedian, and so he's kind of self-deprecating through proxy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm kind of the one who gets to make fun of him a lot. Yeah.
Are you able to turn it off at home? Are you actually? You're not self-deprecating like 24/7?
Honestly, I'm not. No, we're so in love. We honestly, every other word we're just like, I love you so much.
It's disgusting.
It's very sickening.
It's disgusting.
That's why we don't hang out with each other, because we just make everyone else sick.
Yeah, we're gross.
That poor, Jimmy Jacobs made out like a bandit then. He didn't get stuck with you, so that's probably a good thing.
Exactly. He should be thanked.
Yeah, he should be thanked. There should be royalty checks, I think, coming your way. So I used to go through this, like when I would be at a party, and anybody who has a sense of humor, I think you guys probably go through this too. When you're at a party and people introduce you, like, oh, these are my friends, Sean and Lindsay. Do they immediately say something funny, be funny? Do they, expect you to perform anytime you go anywhere?
Sometimes.
All the time.
A lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, especially at our day jobs, everyone's like, do a skit. Like, not really, not the same as stand-up comedy. And the worst is everyone will be like, they'll say something that's not even funny and be like, oh, you should put this in one of your bits.
Oh, so everybody's the coach. Everybody's a coach for you.
Yeah.
So you mentioned day jobs. I was going to get to that. What pays the bills? Until stand-up comedy starts paying the bills for you, what pays the bills now?
Well, right now I'm actually working for Sean's dad at just like a accounting office. Just very menial stuff, just to pay the bills.
Yeah, and I work at a nonprofit that raises money for clinical trials for cancer, and I help the video side of that. And yeah, pretty boring.
And barely pays the bills, then it sounds like. A nonprofit. So, hey, maybe I should be a comedian. No, I'm kidding. So I was looking on YouTube. I wanted to find some clips of you guys. And so I kept doing searches on Sean and Lindsay. And for whatever reason, it kept sending me to The Bachelor. I kept getting clips from The Bachelor.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, there must have been two people on The Bachelor named Sean and Lindsay that were like a thing.
I know. That's like the first thing that comes up whenever you search for Sean and Lindsay now. We're very unlucky with our names.
Right. And I think same spelling and everything.
It's the same spelling.
And I'm pretty sure they're the ones that took SeanandLindsay.com. That's why we couldn't use that for a website.
Yeah. Bastards. Yeah. So anyway, so we have to get to the America's Got Talent, the clip, the whole thing. So it's on. You guys posted it on YouTube, right? And on your website.
It's on. I don't know if the actual clip is on our website. We have some kind of parodies about it on kind of like reaction videos to it.
But we don't actually have the video itself. You can find it,
but it's on YouTube.
Yeah. So how did that begin? Like, where was the tryouts? Where did all that begin? Where did the process come together for you?
Well, so actually the tryouts were back in December in Milwaukee, and we went there. And long and short of it, we left and. We thought it went pretty well, but we didn't hear back anything until 2 months later. And that was already 3 weeks before the show was starting. So we kind of learned very last minute. It went from oh, we're not going to get it to, oh my gosh, we're actually going to have to do this in a few weeks.
Well, and another thing, because we go to Vegas every year now for the anniversary show for a
Ring of Honor.
For the Ring of Honor anniversary show.
To see Jay Lethal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Got it.
And it's our anniversary thing every year. And we had tickets. We were set to go, and it was the same day as our AGT audition. So we had to eat the cost of the plane and the hotel there. Well, I was able to, but
yeah, kind of wish we went to Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
hindsight.
Yeah,
especially the Dalton match. Oh.
Yeah, that was a great match.
So the process, so 2 months later, you get the call back saying they wanted you to be part of the tryouts, right?
Yep. So we're going to be in front of the judges. And, it was very, it just went from 0 to 100. It just every day talking to the producers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The day of the audition actually was also Sean's 30th birthday.
Yeah. What a great day that was.
We were oh, this is going to be the best day of our lives.
And it was.
Wonderful. And that was in LA?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
It was cool because they flew us out, got us a hotel and everything. So it was really fun.
Right.
It was a good experience.
So they flew you out. So the first thing was in Milwaukee, just doing 20 minutes, 15-minute bit, or
no? You do 90 seconds.
Yeah.
You're in front.
That's it.
Yeah, you do 90 seconds. That's your bit. Even in front of judges, it's only 90 seconds.
So they were able to tell you, they were able to determine in 90 seconds that they wanted you guys to be on the show, or at least to be part of the next round.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and then they had, we were kind of talking to other producers. They were kind of giving a sense of our personality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and so then, the flight out to LA, and how long were you out there?
Just for 2 days.
So we basically flew out like Friday and left Sunday.
Okay. And so the process, like, I'm sure it was like really over the top, like getting you guys ready for time cues and getting up on stage and all that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was just really kind of there's just like nonstop preparation.
Yeah. Cause the thing is, cause they had us fly out super, super early on the first day. So we didn't get any sleep the night before, and they had to go right from the airport to the Civic Center where they were filming. And we were there all day filming. And
like backstage
stuff. Yeah. And then so we were there literally I don't know how many hours, but the entire day. And then the next day we had to go pretty early, and we were there the entire day. Again, we left very late. Our audition was probably at 11.
Yeah.
Or so.
It was so by the time you get on stage, it's just you're drained.
Yeah.
We were very forced, we weren't ready for something like that, to be honest. Cause I mean, we were on not food for 2 days.
Well, not even that. It's just we literally we're in front of bars. We 30 people is
right.
That's up there. And then we go from that to 3,000 people and millions of people at home. Not a good recipe.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you couldn't help but have a rough go because you were exhausted, no sleep for 2 days, no food for 2 days. So that was a recipe for disaster, right?
It was,
yeah. And we're not completely blaming it on that because we just weren't ready.
We weren't ready.
I mean,
and you know what? Really, the experience was great. Everyone, the producers were so nice. They were really great to us. They had food. We just couldn't eat it because we're annoying vegans and didn't have anything. So it's not like we didn't provide anyone food.
Which I'm surprised about because I think Simon is vegan. You would think he would try to,
Bring a carrot or something, for Christ's sake. Bring a head of lettuce. Jesus.
Just the moment we walked on stage, we knew this is not going to go well.
Yeah.
Okay, so who were the judges? It was Simon Cowell.
Heidi Klum.
Who doesn't even speak English, so whatever. Okay.
Mel B.
And Howie Mandel.
And Howie Mandel with the frickin' the germaphobe.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. I always liked Simon before that, but until they were so mean to you guys, I don't much like him anymore. And Heidi doesn't speak English, and she's over the hill anyway. So was it? So any dirt on the judges? Anything behind the scenes? Was Simon drinking with his pinky up, and had to have bottled water and the whole 9 yards?
No, honestly, and we really don't have any ill will toward them because anything that they said, we were thinking ourselves anyway,
And you're pretty you're the judges. You're not really around them. We talked to Tyra Banks, but even that was really brief, and she had her bodyguard at all times. So we
couldn't really So I mean, they kind of keep you pretty separated from them.
Well, that makes sense. Have you seen her body? She needs a bodyguard. So. Was it as rough as it was edited? Well, actually, let's get back to the performance. So the performance, how long were you guys up there? 3-4 minutes?
Yeah, probably around 3.5.
Okay.
Walk up, probably about 3.5.
And you've been performing for years and years. So stage fright, or it was the fact that it was such a big crowd, or was it just another crowd for you?
Well, no. I mean, this was way bigger than anything we'd ever possibly experienced before. So, I mean, there was some nerves, but it was mostly just, we just didn't have the energy at that point.
Not even, let's not blame all that. Let's just look at it. We kind of, before we did this, we kind of knew things weren't working. And the biggest reason why it wasn't working is it just wasn't honest anymore because it's her making fun of me. I write this stuff. So it's basically me making fun of myself.
Right.
And that's not a relationship. She loves me way more than I love myself. And she's always being so mean to yourself. So we kind of knew it wasn't working, but how do you say no to that?
Right,
So I put the blame on us, not energy, none of that. I put it on us not being ready and getting too much too soon.
Well,
right.
The lines that we said, we really wanted to change them because we knew that something like that may not have worked for that type of crowd. But pretty much it's locked in December, so we couldn't change what we were saying.
And again, we're not blaming. You sound I mean, we blame ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we know that those were probably not the right jokes to say.
No, they weren't.
Right. So was it when you saw the finished product afterwards? Was it edited? Was it accurate as far as the editing? Because I know on a lot of these competition and reality type shows, they edit it so that they manipulate it basically. So was it pretty accurate, or was it the booing and the groaning and stuff? Was that pretty accurate?
Well, okay, I will say that there was booze.
A lot of them.
They did edit out, they edited out all the laughs we did get, which were probably just pity laughs anyway, so I wasn't mad about it. But the thing is, it was very edited, but it still was pretty true to what happened.
It was, and you know what? It could have been a lot worse because, like, we were so you could tell now we kind of ramble, and we were rambling, and like Simon just kept cutting us off. Like, okay, thank you. And it's like, oh my gosh, I felt like an idiot. Like, I felt like a rambling idiot.
Before we even started our set, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is going terribly.
It was just going horrible. Right.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's amazing exposure that you had on national TV with millions of people watching and learning your name, right? I mean, you got to look at the positives of it, right?
You know, and quite frankly, we learned so much from the experience. And that's all you can take from it. You know, like, if you learn something and you're going to better yourself because of it, it was worth it.
Exactly. So, other than your Facebook, are you guys on social media? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, we're not super active on Twitter. We probably should be more, but we mostly are active on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
We're starting to upload more videos to that. We've gotten like a few. Like I said, we did a Lego parody version of our audition. And things like that. And we have a few that we're kind of in works doing. So that's kind of what we're focusing on at the moment, because we decided to kind of take a step back and take a kind of a breath from live shows just for like a month or two and just kind of
retool things.
Yeah.
Right, sure. After that. So after that, I mean, I know you said you're not too active on Twitter, but did you get any kind of like major blow-ups of Twitter, Facebook, people searching for you, finding you, commenting one way or the other?
You know, like, it was weird because, like, there really weren't that many as I thought. Like, it blew up a little bit. Like, at first we saw people on Twitter were kind of saying mean things about us, and we were kind of interacting and making light of it and stuff. But it honestly didn't blow up that much. I mean, I still don't think we have like 200 fans on Facebook yet. Like, it was just pretty much the same.
Got it. So the videos I found you guys, it's marriedcomedy.com, correct?
Yes, thank you.
So that is the website. And if you want to follow them on Twitter, you're on Twitter?
We are, yeah. The links to all of our social media stuff is at the top of our website.
Okay.
And there's also a mailing list you can subscribe to and all that fun stuff.
Gotcha. So marriedcomedy.com is where to find you. That's the main place. So I noticed on there, too, there was Lego stuff, and I couldn't find any mention of wrestling on there. So is that a purposeful, like, oh, we don't want to be associated with wrestling on our website? We're embarrassed by it.
Not at all.
No.
In fact,
but Legos are okay. Legos are okay, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's our other obsession. Our two biggest obsessions are Legos and wrestling. So,
and we actually did have a wrestling joke at AGT.
They just didn't show it. Yeah, they didn't. They only showed like maybe half of our audition.
And quite frankly, even if they showed it, you couldn't hear it past the booze.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, the booze came pretty loud. So I honestly think they showed mercy with what they showed because it could have been a whole lot worse.
Oh yeah.
Do you recall the wrestling joke?
Oh boy.
Well, the gist of it, if you
just tell the joke.
I must know. God damn it! It's a wrestling podcast. We must know.
Well, basically, just the fact that we are married and we have so much in common. He loves wrestling because,
and I love all the storylines, the cool moves they do.
And I get to see what muscles look like.
There you go.
Yeah, mercy.
Thank you for the
mercy laugh.
So, no, I was thinking that if you could build a Lego Jay Lethal, that would be combining all the elements, right? That would be it.
One step ahead of you.
Oh, Jesus, no way.
We actually, that's kind of what we want to do because we're doing Lego stop motion. So yeah, we're kind of like getting our favorite wrestlers. We have minifigures of Jay Lethal. We have minifigures of Dalton Castle. We have like an elaborate storyline with all of our favorite movies, TV shows, and wrestlers. So yeah, we're way ahead of you.
I mean, we have a whole room just devoted to Legos and wrestling figures. So,
yeah, so I play with wrestling action figures, and she's not allowed to play with me, but we play together.
Excellent. So the Roman Reigns Lego figure will be coming soon, I'm sure.
No, it won't.
Well, no,
not Roman Reigns.
So there?
No, he's okay, but he's not Lego worthy.
Yeah.
He's not Lego worthy. Got it. Okay. So are there guys where do you stand on the Reigns controversy? Do you guys both hate him or feel sorry for him?
No, I like Roman Reigns. I think he's a great worker. Obviously, like when he's scripted and says suffering succotash, that's abysmal. But like the dude should just be Goldberg, man. He should just go up there, have that swagger, beat the crap out of
Just
people,
shut
and
up
leave.
and people up.
But he's a great worker. I think he's a really great worker. And I'm going to say something, very controversial. I actually enjoyed his match with Jinder Mahal, and I don't like Jinder Mahal, but I enjoyed that match.
That is controversial, yes.
No, I
Definitely
like it.
controversial. So, let's see. We talked about disagreements. One of the other questions that Trammell always uses on the show is, when did you guys realize that wrestling wasn't on the up and up? Like, Sean, you said you were a fan first. Did you know right away that wrestling wasn't on the up and up, or did it come a slow realization? How did that come about for you?
I always knew. Like my brother, so my oldest brother is almost 10 years older than me, so he was in it from the 80s and stuff. And so he kind of filled me in. He was already smart by the time I was a little kid, so I never kayfabe never lived with me.
Right.
So and actually, I was so into my 12-year-old cousin. She's not 12 anymore, but I remember she bonded because she liked wrestling. And then one day she was always like, "Oh my gosh, it's so horrible that Matt Hardy killed Jeff Hardy's dog
in the fire in the trailer." Yeah, that's right.
We're at an event. She's like, "Do you realize that that's not real?" I was like, "Yes, I know it's not real."
Because he was 8. How old are you?
I was 21.
You were 21 at the time.
A 12-year-old thought that she was exposing the business to me. So.
And so, Lindsay, since he got you into it, you knew from the start that it wasn't on the level, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I knew even kind of before I got into it. I never really watched it, but I heard other people talk about it.
I will say this. People think it's an annoying thing where she's trying to be cool by liking wrestling and liking what I like. She honestly is a bigger mark than I am at this point. She is she cried when Jay Lethal lost his first belt.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
My friend was there, and my friend was a huge Adam Cole fan who took the belt from him. And the next day, I wanted to be excited for Adam Cole, but I felt so bad.
Yeah, he just after the match, he just got up and left because
didn't even say anything. She's bawling, ugly crying.
At least he celebrate in front of me.
She's a mark.
Yeah.
Mark. So
Mark.
you guys will have your Bullet Club shirts on at All In?
No, we missed out on All In.
Are you doing StarCast, the convention? Are you going to be around?
No, honestly, I don't think we're going to be around for that. But yeah, I was really bummed out because I totally forgot about All In when the tickets went on sale.
Yeah, he did.
But honestly, we're just Ring of Honor fans. In terms of live shows, Ring of Honor is really kind of what we like because Jay's there. I know Jay's an All In, but again, I don't want to sound like a self-hating mark, but I don't really like a lot of wrestling fans. I don't like really the Bullet Club kind of fans, and that's really all it's going to be.
Chanting to chant.
Yeah, I don't like hijacking shows, and it feels like that's the type of show it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's leaning more that way. So we're both going to it. Trammell and I are both going to it with a couple other friends. So we will be able to report live on Smark headquarters, right from the heart of Smark headquarters. So anyway, as we wrap up, there'll be a lot of ROH guys. If I see when I see Jay Lethal, I'll be sure to pass my regards. So put your website over one more time.
Yeah, it's marriedcomedy.com, and there's links in the upper right corner to all of our other social media and our YouTube, and check out our YouTube for upcoming stuff soon.
And you got shows coming up anytime soon?
Well, we actually produce a show in the suburbs in Grays Lake, Illinois that is on hiatus, but we're thinking about bringing it back for August, which is the third Thursday of every month. Awesome. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Yeah, because we have a lot of listeners in the Midwest, so hopefully a lot of people will come out to see you guys. So thank you so much, Lindsay and Sean Lechowicz. Thank you, STS Nation, for joining us this week. Thanks, Brian Trammell, for letting me take over the entire month. We will see you next week on Shooting the Shiznit, and don't forget, I love my llama.
Thanks.
Hey, remember to join us, same bad time, same bad channel, on the best of the wrestling podcast in the business. Be there. Love my mama. Hope y'all enjoyed that episode, and as always, we're looking for contestants on Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever. We also have t-shirts at wehavemerch.com. That's wehavemerch.com. $12.99, starting at $12.99, sizes all the way up to 6XL. Shooting the Shiznit exclusively sponsored this month by spunklube.com. That's spunklube.com. Spunk Lube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. Spunk Globe is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. You can reach me at Comic Book Mark BT on Twitter, BT Shooting the Shiznit on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. You can talk to us, me and Lance and everyone at Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk Facebook group. We also have a Shooting the Shiznit Facebook group. All the archives are at www.stspod.club. You can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, and other fine podcast players. I want to give a big shout out to my podcast bros, Suplex City Limits, Creative Control, Who's Right Podcasts, and P3 Radio. Also a big shout out to WrestlingNewsCenter.com, LocalsToLegends.com with Gene Jackson, who also has his podcast, and my old buddy Bob McGee at ProWrestlingsBetweenTheSheets.com. If you like this episode and would like to donate to the show, then send $5 to PayPal at Brian_Trammell, Trammell, at yahoo.com. Join us next week.
You can't fight the friction.